from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros try to snap their losing streak against the first-place St. Louis Cardinals. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Astros lost their 8th in a row last night. Their new skipper, Dave Clark, now is a little more grounded. That was a hectic day for him yesterday, JD.
Yeah, his head had to be spinning all day yesterday once he got to the ballpark. First day as a Major League manager. Ended up on the wrong end of the decision. Hopefully that could change tonight. The pitching matchup, though, not a favorable one for the Astros. You hear so much about Wainwright and Carpenter, and for good reason. But Joel Pinheiro, the number 3 man in this rotation, has been rock solid as well. 14-11 this year with a 3.31 ERA. Young Yorman Bizzardo takes the start for the Astros, looking for his first win, making just his 4th start.
Both these clubs had home run distance last night as Mark DeRosa had his second 2-home-run game of the season at Minute Maid Park in the Cardinals' 7-3 win. And the Astros had some good swings from Miguel Tejada and Lance Berkman, both going deep. Game 2 comes your way next.
He left with the lead, but got a no decision. The Reds came back and won that game through 87 pitches. So this is really the first time that he's actually been able to perform like a starting pitcher, making back-to-back starts as we go through the rotation. Defensively, Lee, Bourne, and Pence cover left, center, and right. Infield of Blum, Tejada, Keppinger, and Berkman. J.R. Toles does the catching. Bizzardo making his 4th start. First 2 came back in August, 9 days apart. And then he worked in relief on September 11th before making that start last Wednesday. So maybe he'll be a little bit sharper here this evening.
Skip Schumacher is the first man to face him. Schumacher had 3 hits and 4 at-bats last night, batting 8th. And he was the center fielder last night. He moved to second later in the game. There's ball 1. Schumacher made that move in spring training to second base, and that's worked out well. He's also hit 307, 4 homers, 34 runs batted in. He has scored 82 this year. Schumacher's hit 286 against the Astros. Cardinals are looking at Bizzardo for the first time, and it's 2-1.
Cardinals have a lot of guys like Schumacher that are flexible, can play a lot of different positions. It allows Tony La Russa to mix and match with his lineup, both in terms of where they hit and where they play in the field. Guys like Schumacher, Ryan, Julio Lugo, Mark DeRosa, very versatile players.
They're 7th in the league in runs scored. Their pitching has been really important to their success. Grounded to shortstop, Miguel Tejada. Low throw, Lance Berkman saves him a throwing error. He's done that many times this year. 1 out for Bizzardo.
Well, as an infielder, if you're going to miss low, kind of like a pitcher. First baseman's got a chance to dig one. If you airmail it over his head, there's not a whole lot he can do. Of course, ideally, it would be not to miss at all.
Well, Lance came up with a fine play. It's out number 1 now. Colby Rasmus, 253, 15 homers, 50 runs batted in. Fine rookie. He fouls that one back for strike 1. Rasmus was not in the starting lineup last night. He pinch hit and lined out to short in the 9th inning. But he's had a solid rookie year. Good defensive player. Frequently bats down near the bottom of the order, but hitting number 2 tonight. That one's in the air, and Carlos Lee comes over near the left field line. On the run, he gloves it and smacks into the wall. Good play.
From a left-handed hitter, that ball's got a little slice, so it's fading away from Carlos. You'll see he'll take one peek, find the wall, and kind of gauge how much room he's got. And able to make the play before running up against that wall. Norman Bizzardo, a pitcher who features a fastball, slider, and a changeup. Changeup probably his best pitch. Fastball 89 to 93 miles an hour.
Right to Albert Pujols. League leader in total bases and in extra base hits. He also leads in homers with 47. He's tied for the RBI lead with 128. Pujols last night had a pair of doubles, giving him 42 two-base hits now. Also leads the league in runs scored with 120. Good sharp breaker. And it's 1 and 2 as we look at the OPS. Albert Pujols
leads in that as well.
He could be a unanimous MVP choice. Check swing call there by Mark Wegner. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. It would be his 3rd most valuable player award if he gets it.
He doesn't go out of the zone very often. A very patient hitter.
Bizzardo gets it by him and has a 1-2-3 first with some good looking stuff. Cardinals nothing. Astros coming up. The Astros starting lineup for Dave Clark. Michael Bourne leads it off in center field. Miguel Tejada on a 9-game hitting streak plays shortstop. Lance Berkman's at first base. 37 long balls against the Cardinals. Most of any active player. Carlos Lee, Jeff Blum, Hunter Pence, Jeff Kepperson, J.R. Toll, Norman Pizarro round out the lineup.
30-year-old Joel Pinheiro for the Cardinals tonight, having a very nice year. 14-11, 3.31 ERA. Boy, he doesn't walk many. 23 walks all year. Walk ratio, the best in baseball.
That's strike one to Bourne.
23 walks, 96 punch outs. He's only allowed 7 home runs. If he's getting ground balls early, you know you're in trouble.
That one's tapped foul by Michael. Michael is 0 for 12 in his last 3 games, trying to get it revved up again, starting the night at 289 with 3 homers, 35 driven in. The Cardinals have held him to a 255 average. Astros trailing St. Louis by 17.5 games. And they are currently in 4th place. They're 4 behind Milwaukee, but Cincinnati in 5th place is only 1 back of Houston as the evening begins. And the Astros, Yadier Molina getting behind the plate. Well, he's going to get some help there from trainer Barry Weinberg, looking at his hand apparently. Right hand.
Yadier Molina is a tremendous weapon defensively for the Cardinals. Not just with his throwing arm, but very athletic behind the plate. Good receiver. He's become one of the best catchers in all of baseball. He's hit a little bit for them too. He's become a better offensive player in the last couple of seasons. He wants to throw a couple, see how that hand's going to hold up here. Let's see what happens.
Well, he's got it dangling, but it's still exposed back there, J.D.
Yeah, that's just bad luck. He's got it tucked behind his back leg and still gets whacked.
Yeah. No balls, 2 strikes to Michael Bourne.
See where he puts it this time. He's got it up.
He's got it right behind his mitt. Some catchers do it that way to protect it.
The problem is when you reach for the pitch, it's no longer protected.
Well, you mentioned Pinheiro and how well he's done this year. He's beaten the Astros in both of his starts against them. 3-3 lifetime against Houston. 2-0 this season with a 2.45 ERA.
Hasn't been quite as sharp lately. Just 1-2 with a 4.62 in the month of September. 4 September starts for Pinheiro, but you know he can be a real difference maker. A lot of clubs, postseason clubs, that are pretty solid for the front 2 men in the rotation, and then as you get into 3 and 4, the depth can be a real difference maker. He's one of the better pitchers in the league all summer long.
2 balls, 2 strikes. At one point, the Cardinals won 11 straight starts by Pinheiro. He personally had an 8-game winning streak. Cardinals 34-10 in games started by Pinheiro, Carpenter, and Wainwright since July 1st. Tapped up the line at first. Pujols comes in and steps on the base. 1 out.
And that's the whole secret for Pinheiro, and it's not really a secret. It's the key to his success. The sinker. Keep the ball down around the knees with that good movement. He'll get a lot of ground balls.
It took a 1-0 loss to snap his 8-game winning streak. That was against Atlanta September 11th. Miguel Tejada furthered his hitting streak to 9 games last night. He hit his 12th homer. He's driven in 77 with a 300 batting average. He went 1 for 4 last night. Only 220 against the Cardinals. Cardinal pitching staff has depressed many of the Astros' individual batting averages, and Houston is hitting .239 as a team against St. Louis, scoring 38 runs in 13 games.
I know I'm depressed.
Well, trying to figure out how to get on base against these Cardinal pitchers, that could be a little depressing. There's a way to get on. A solid hit to right field by Tejada. 10-game hitting streak for Miggy.
Well, the key with Pinheiro is you just got to get him to elevate it a little bit. Ball not way up, but up just enough where Miggy can center it up. Good off-field stroke there. The oddities about Pinheiro is absolutely no difference in batting average against from the left or right side. Both righties and lefties hitting exactly .278 against him.
Very unusual. Lance Berkman takes a shot at him here. Looking at strike one. Infield shifted around. Berkman hit his 23rd homer last night. He's driven in 74 runs with a .272 average. Despite those seasonal numbers against the Cardinals, he is 7 for 17 against Pinheiro in his career with 2 homers, 5 runs driven in. It's a 1-1 count. Cardinals starting pitchers have won more games than any other staff in the majors, 66, and they've pitched more innings, 938. Berkman has had some really good at-bats against this right-hander. Patient here. He works the count to 2 balls, 1 strike. Pinheiro's from Puerto Rico. Went to junior college in Florida. In fact, he was junior college pitcher of the year one year. And then drafted by Seattle in the 12th round in '97 and released. Moved along to Boston. Fly ball to left. Now Holliday back, feeling for the wall, leaping and catching it there. Firing back in. Here's the relay to first. Tejada gets back in. Out number 2 at the base of the wall. Well-timed leap by Holliday.
I didn't think Lance got this one, but Crawford box is out there. You never know. And right up against it, Holliday able to make the catch. Feeling for it. And then ultimately leaving his feet to make the catch. Tejada got almost all the way to second base, scrambled back.
Now Carlos Lee taking strike one. 303 for Carlos, 26 homers, 96 driven in, 448 lifetime against Pinheiro. Big numbers. Carlos was 0 for 4 last night. Cardinals snapped his 12-game hitting streak. He's behind 0-2 in the count. Pinheiro, one of the several pitchers who have really posted their best seasons in a St. Louis uniform with Dave Duncan as the pitching coach. Good command, sinks the ball, gets his ground ball outs. It's 1-2.
Yeah, he had a couple of real nice years in Seattle and then started to backslide. His final 3 years with the Mariners, 21 and 35, and then he moved on to Boston. Things didn't work out there. They tried him in the bullpen, had a high ERA before landing with the Cardinals. Didn't pitch all that well for them last year, but this year he's been lights out.
Last year 7-7 with a 5.15 ERA. Some time on the DL with shoulder and groin injuries. 2-2 to El Caballo. He opened this season as the number 5 starter for Tony La Russa. In the dirt, and Carlos has a full count. Tejada will be moving. You mentioned Seattle. Yeah, he really did have some good years. He was 16 and 11 and 0-3. That followed up a 14 and 7, 0-2 with 3.24 ERA. Lost to Roger Clemens and the Astros in Seattle in June of 04, 1-0. Out it goes. It's a line shot. Holliday over and up for the catch. That ball absolutely scalded. We're out number 3. No runs a hit. Astros got some good swings. It's 0-0. Jack in the Box standings. We'll show you LaRussa's Cardinals versus the Astros in the division finishes since 02. And they are usually neck and neck, whether it's first and second, second and third. Well, this year, a very unusual one in that sense.
This year they're neck and knee.
Yeah. Matt Holliday gets it going in the second inning. And there's strike one for Yorman Bizzardo on a foul tip to Holliday, a .358 Cardinal hitter with 13 homers, 50 runs batted in. He didn't hit nearly that well with Oakland. .286 there. Little tap. Bizzardo, bare hands, throws off balance. Good play.
Very nice play by Yorman. Trading spotlights with Tejada. Well, this looked like trouble. Holliday runs well. Bizzardo able to get to it in a hurry and probably more importantly unload in a hurry.
Retires 4 straight out of the chute. Now his attention is focused on outfielder Rick Ankiel. He's fouling out a play, strike one. .234 for Ankiel, 11 homers, 37 runs batted in. Fouls it, and it's no balls, 2 strikes.
Ankiel has struck out 90 times this year. He's had 351 at bats. He's only walked 24 times. .286 on base percentage. He's got some power, but just he swings and misses.
And there's another one. He strikes out. That's number 2 for Bizzardo. Looking sharp.
They beat Pujols with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball to end the first inning. Now he features a nice changeup twice in this confrontation with Ankiel. And it's a good dandy diving down below the knees there.
Yorman has 2 major league wins, 2 losses, and a 6.80 ERA for his career. Mark DeRosa takes that one, ball 1. DeRosa, with 10 homers as a Cardinal, has hit 6 of those against the Astros. 10 of his 26 Cardinal runs batted in have come against Houston. Here's what he did last night.
A double and then 2 home runs from DeRosa. Drove in 4.
Gets underneath this one. Lifts it to shallow right field. Jeff Keppinger in front of Hunter Pence. Bizzardo has retired the first 6 Redbirds in a scoreless game. The secret of managing is to keep the guys who hate you away from the guys who are undecided. Jeff Blum looks at ball one, bottom of the second inning underway.
Well, there's the challenge, Clarkie.
Well, the players have really greeted him as their manager, and a lot of glowing remarks. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 game, 1 loss, but some of the players, of course, had played for him in the minor leagues, where he managed at Corpus Christi and Round Rock. Hunter Pence played for him.
And it's really interesting because at the end of the day, it does come down to wins and losses. But whether a man is qualified to manage a big league team and whether he's a good manager or not really has nothing to do with wins and losses. I mean, you can have the best managerial mind in the world, and he's not going to turn around a bad team. And you can have a horrible manager, and if he's got super talent, he's probably still going to win. So I guess the question is, do you have the right man, the guy you want providing leadership in the clubhouse? I've always found that interesting. How managers get hired and fired because of their 1-loss record, not because of the credentials they bring to the table, just in terms of how they manage the team and how they manage people.
Hunter Pence bats after the 4-pitch walk to Jeff Blum. Strike to Hunter, a .287 hitter with 24 homers, 69 runs batted in. Hunter 0 for 4 last night. Jeff Keppinger's on deck. Happy 20th birthday to Faith Foskey, member of the O's Bros. The Young's member, we think. Bouncer on a double play ball. Here's the flip by Schumacher, and Lugo, the middleman, turning the 4-6-3. That's number 143 for the Astros.
Yeah, and Hunter, boy, he's hit into a bunch of them. Miggy and Hunter have been the 2 primary culprits, I guess, if you want to label them that. 24 for Hunter, 29 for Miggy. Cardinals don't walk many. As a matter of fact, they've walked fewer than anybody in the league. Part of their success.
Well, a walk is acceptable if it's followed up by a double play ball. Jeff Keppinger, 263 with 7 homers, has driven in 27. That one goes to shortstop, charged by Lugo. Pinheiro has a quick second inning, and the game is scoreless. Who he thinks he resembles. Stay tuned for that. Yorman Bazardo resembles, well, some of the best pitching around from what we've seen in the first 2 innings. Yadier Molina faces him, getting off the third. Do you think his stuff is better tonight than we've seen, JD?
Well, had that one relief appearance. He struck out the side. And he was very crisp in that game against the Pirates. So that's the first time that you kind of went, ooh, okay. Good sink there and a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. This is kind of more along the lines of the stuff we expected to see, given the reports we heard on Yorman out of AAA this year. Maybe, a little bit of a comfort factor. The toll's back there, but I think probably more than anything, the fact that he's just getting back-to-back starts in a relatively short period of time. It's the first time it's happened for him here at the big league level. As a starting pitcher, you get into routine, you're pitching every fifth day, and he hasn't had that opportunity up here.
That's a good point. 2-2 at Round Rock. He was 9-6. His ERA was 3.20.
Came up, he made 3 relief appearances on the 8th, 13th, and 15th of August. Then he made a start on the 19th, did not pitch again until the 28th of August, and then was idle until working in the pen on September 11th. It's awfully hard to be sharp when used like that.
Michael Bourne, 1 out.
But that's the nature of it. I mean, it's not anybody's fault. That's just the way he was used because the Astros had a bunch of pitchers, and he was the odd man out. But now, here we are in the final 2 weeks of the season. He's got this one tonight and presumably a couple more starts. We'll see what he can do when working every fifth day.
Julio Lugo knocked in a run last night. 295, 2 homers, 11 runs batted in for Lugo since joining the Cardinals. Lugo takes ball 1 with pitcher Pinheiro on deck. Lugo last night was the leadoff man and second baseman. Talked about movable parts, and that's what Tony La Russa can do with him. He can skip Schumacher a day off, although Schumacher did move to the outfield last night, or give Brendan Ryan a day off. It's 3 balls, no strikes. Cardinals are beginning a 9-game road trip. They'll go to Colorado and Cincinnati. They have a 10-game lead on the Cubs. Lugo takes a 4-pitch walk.
I'm just talking you up, Yorman. Do that.
Well, fans, come on out to Minute Maid Park this Friday at 7:05 as the Astros take on the Reds in the final weekend of the season. Arrive early as the first 10,000 fans will receive an Astros cap collectible courtesy of AT&T. This cap collectible is the final piece in a 4-piece set, and all fans will receive a 2010 ticket certificate from the Houston Astros. And be sure to stick around after the game for Friday night fireworks, of course, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation, weather permitting. For more information, visit Astros.com.
Thanks, Patty. There's a bunt by Pinheiro to Berkman. Tossing to Kappinger. Sacrifice number 9 of the year for Pinheiro. Gets Lugo into scoring position. 2 outs.
Patty, you still there?
Yes, I am.
How was that soup tonight?
That soup was awesome. How did you know I was sneaking soup?
I just heard a rumor.
He's the soup Nazi, Patty.
No soup for you.
No soup.
Where was the soup? In the press dining room?
Yes, it was. It was a tortilla soup with smoked shrimp.
Oh.
2 bowls, guys. I had 2 bowls.
No mulligatawny?
Don't tell anyone. No mulligatawny.
We blew it. J.R. Tolle's out for a word with his pitcher. Skip Schumacher bats.
You're talking about the flexibility of the Cardinals and the ability to move people around. I was looking at in their notes. They've had 4 different shortstops start at least 15 games. That's pretty rare.
Yeah. Up the middle into center field. Lugo coming in to score to make it 1-0 Cardinals. First hit of the game for the Redbirds comes from Schumacher. Gets him his 35th run batted in.
Schumacher kept his nose in there, and that sinker running down and away and just banged it right back through the middle of the diamond. The 1-out walk comes back to bite Yorman.
Colby Rasmus is the batter with 2 outs. They strike 1. Saw that promo a moment ago on the screen for Texans Huddle. We heard a story tonight about Gary Kubiak going to St. Luke's Hospital on Friday to visit our good buddy Gene Duffy. The Texans presented Gene with an autographed game ball from their win on Sunday. No balls, 2 strikes. That's been a miraculous recovery for Gene, and we hope to see him soon.
Gene watching tonight?
Hopefully.
We're going to get Gene a win. Gene's already had a win.
Yes, he has. One ball and 2 strikes. And Renee Heathcott had surgery today. Things going well for her. Roy Oswalt will be going to Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas on Thursday for a second opinion on his back from Dr. Andrew Dossett. Two balls and 2 strikes. Alberto Arias will be having arthroscopic surgery on his right knee tomorrow. Dr. David Lintner.
Tis the season for baseball surgeries.
It really is.
Get them lined up, get them done early so guys have time to rehab. Norman overthrowing a little bit here. And you got to realize Albert Pujols waits on deck, so you've got to come up with a pitch here.
J.R. Tolles trying to help him through it with Pujols waiting. Cardinals are 8-5 against the Astros. Astros have won 3 of the 4 games here between the two at Minute Maid Park. 36 pitches into the game. Zardo trails 1-0. John Smoltz goes tomorrow night for St. Louis against Bud Norris for Houston. Runner going on 3-2, and it's ball 4, bringing up Pujols.
Well, now Norman's in the soup a little bit. Walked Lugo, now Rasmus after the single by Schumacher, and has to deal with Pujols with a couple of men aboard. Last time up, pitch by pitch. We'll take a look. Strike 1 on the inner half and up a little bit. Slider missed down and away. Good slider for the swing and a miss. Try it one more time and then beat him with a 94-mile-an-hour heater. Good quality pitches to Fat Albert.
Takes that for ball 1.
This is, we talked about Yorman getting off to this good start, and a lot of times when you're looking at young pitchers, it's not so much what they're doing when they're on top of their game, but how do they respond under duress. We're going to look here at Pizzardo and now Dewey Robinson have to have a chat.
Pizzardo made his first start at Florida, or at Houston rather, against Florida, August 19th, a game you talked about, JD, through 95 pitches. Gave up 2 runs in 4 2/3 innings.
It's not a meeting I want to take right there if I'm the pitching coach. I mean, that's a tough one there. You got a guy struggling with his command. You got Pujols hitting with a couple men over. You like to go out there and say something and then have positive feedback. You go out there with Pujols hitting and a couple of men on, and your pitcher's struggling a little bit. It's a little dicey.
It's 1-1. Pujols is tied for 3rd. The all-time St. Louis RBI list right now with Jim Bottomley. 1,105 for his career. He's driven in 18 this month. Fouls that one, and it's a 1-2 count.
Another good fastball, a sinker. Down below the knees, got Albert on top of it. He's gone mostly middle away with both fastball and the slider. I don't know if he has the nerve to try to get in on his hands with the fastball.
Pujols has begun his career with 9 straight 100 RBI seasons. Up the middle and on into center field. That'll score Schumacher to make it 2-0. And a single by Pujols. Right back through the box for his 129th run batted in.
Now the stuff is certainly good. He's got good life on the fastball, good velocity. The action on the slider's been good. He's thrown some good changeups. But command is the issue. That's really the difference maker at the big league level between the bad, the good, and the a little bit better than good, and the great is all about command. The best pitchers throw a high percentage of those pitches right where they want them. As you move down the line, the guys who struggle with their command, they're the ones that pay the price.
Matt Holliday bats.
In terms of stuff, you can take most major league pitchers and draw a Venn diagram, and most of the guys are going to be in that big circle. Command is what separates.
Holliday fouls it. 0-2. Holliday, a 7th round pick by the Rockies in '98, 29 years old, from Stillwater, Oklahoma.
I just won $20, by the way.
Wow.
I said Venn diagram on the telecast. Somebody bet me I couldn't.
The next challenge will be collecting. What is a Venn diagram?
Well, it's one of these deals, right? You draw the circles. And certain parts are in this set, and some are in both. Like that.
Okay.
Just justified the expense on the telestrator too. It's the 3rd time I've used it this year.
It's 2 balls and 2 strikes for Bizarro.
Didn't check.
And a run scores during the rundown. And now there's the tag on Pujols, but a little too late to prevent run number 3 from scoring in the inning. A breakdown for the Astros. Cardinals 3, Astros nothing in the 3rd.
Got to look at the runner coming down the 3rd baseline.
Bottom of the 3rd inning. Throwing strike 1.
And here's that play again. You see Albert with a little bit of a delayed steal, and JR just fails to check the runner at 3rd base. Still had time. You take one peek at that runner, you stop him in his tracks, then make the throw down, and probably get Pujols at 2nd base to end the inning.
No balls, 2 strikes. JR hitting 115 with 1 RBI. And that's strike 3 for Pinheiro. Strikeout number 1. Yorman Bizzardo bats next. He is 0 for 5. Pinheiro in his last start against Florida lost 5-2, giving up 10 hits and 4 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Strike to Bizzardo. Michael Bourne on deck. Dave Clark heard from a lot of people, as you might have witnessed earlier with the interview with Patty Smith on Astros Live. But among them, Jim Leyland, the manager of the Tigers, and his hitting coach, Lloyd McClendon. Strikeout for Pinheiro.
Dave was a hitting coach for Lloyd in Pittsburgh.
Well, the Astros take on the Reds in the final game of the 2009 season this Sunday at 1:05. Get to the game early as the first 10,000 fans will receive a 2009 team poster courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors. Sunday is also Fan Appreciation Day, and a great prize will be given away every inning courtesy of our Astros partners. Don't forget that kids are free all season in partnership with Minute Maid. For a list of prizes or to get your tickets, visit Astros.com, guys.
Thanks, Patty. 3-0 Cardinals with Michael Bourne fouling that one. 2 outs, and it's an 0-1 count. This grounder goes to the second sacker. Schumacher over to Pujols for a 1-2-3 third for Pinheiro. 3-0 lead for the Redbirds.
Center, 1969. This is a good one. Third base coach Salty Parker sends Norm Miller home from third when he sees a white object fly away from Braves catcher Bob Didier. Turns out it's not the ball, but a finger cast. Didier's waiting at home plate with the ball to tag out Norm. Astros lose the game.
Holiday with a hit to left field.
Our good buddy Larry Dierker suffers the defeat on his 23rd birthday. Happy birthday, Dirk.
Yeah, that was a classic story that Norm has enjoyed telling over the years, and he could tell it well. Holiday on the leadoff single. He was at the plate when Pujols took off in that pitch in the dirt. It was ruled by the official score that Rasmus scored on a fielder's choice, and then Pujols was out from 2 to 4 to 6. Rick Ankiel, the batter, he struck out first time up. High chop over Berkman up the right field line. Hunter Pence will field it. Holiday goes first to third on the bouncing single. Mark DeRosa has runners at the corners with nobody out.
So if we do our math, then that makes Dirk 63 years of age today.
That's true. Happy birthday, Dirk.
Let's get Dirk a win. Let's get anybody a win.
Yeah.
And a good start to the top half of the fourth.
DeRosa popped a second in the second inning. He had been struggling at the plate prior to last night. Had a big night with 3 hits, 4 runs batted in. Molina's on deck. That was ball 1 to DeRosa. Tony La Russa said he doesn't have time to think about coming back for 2010 as the Cardinals manager. Too busy in this pennant race. Line drive hit to right field makes it 4-0. DeRosa comes up with another RBI, his 11th of the year against Astros pitching. Yadier Molina will follow.
And that fastball flattened out and up for DeRosa. Continues to swing a hot bat here in Houston. You dropped 8 in a row and you fall down 4. It's the 4th inning. It's time to get the bullpen cranking. They're moving around out there.
Molina line to center. Strike 1 to him. DeRosa actually has a better slugging percentage in his career at Minute Maid Park than Albert Pujols. No balls and a strike to Molina. Wesley Wright's working for the Astros in their bullpen. La Russa and Dave Duncan both ending their contracts at the end of this season. JD.
Yeah, well, Tony says he hasn't thought about it, but obviously he's thought about it. It's his future. Contemplate it, but he'll deal with it later. Well, there was a little discord in the Cardinal family earlier this summer when Chris Duncan was traded.
Yes. Top to third, Blum charging, throws on the run to Berkman. Ankiel to third, DeRosa to second on the Molina grounder, 1 out.
This is Tony La Russa's 14th year managing the Cardinals. It will be his 8th division championship for the Redbirds. A couple of league championships and a World Series back in 2006. So St. Louis has done all right under that man's leadership. Tony was 14 years of age when he first managed in the big leagues. So it seemed.
Yeah.
Was he mid to late 20s?
Yeah, late 20s. Infielders in halfway. As Lugo bats, he walked and scored earlier. And it's strike 1. Yeah, he came up as a skipper with the White Sox, then moved along to Oakland, where he got together with Dave Duncan before they both came to St. Louis. A very good pairing. One hopper runner coming home. Tejada didn't throw home. He threw to first base. Ankiel scores. And the Redbirds lead it 5-0.
And with the infield pulled partially in, the Cardinals still had the contact play on. Ankiel's going on contact here with the pitcher due up next. He had to play at home.
Yep.
Just probably didn't feel like he had his feet set right.
Wondered if he got a grip on the ball or what it was, but it looked like he was coming home until something happened there at the last moment. Pinheiro put down a sac bunt. Strike 1 to him.
The Cardinals have to feel like they've stolen a couple runs tonight. And I mean, even if you're not sure, I think that's a time where it makes sense to go for it. You're already down 4 runs. Astros have been averaging about 2 runs a game here for the last 10 days. You have to feel like you can't give up any more. You might as well be aggressive trying to nail that guy at home plate.
Line into right center field. DeRosa comes home to make it 6-0 on an RBI single by the pitcher Pinheiro. It's his 4th run batted in, hit number 9 of the year for Pinheiro.
Well, the Cardinal hitter is very comfortable up there tonight. If you think back, try to recall how many times Yorman busted somebody inside with something hard. I can't recall. So everything has been middle away, and when you're working one side of the plate only, you're really limiting yourself. You have to be awfully fine to survive pitching that way.
So Dave Clark will go to Wesley Wright at this point. Cardinals have put together 4 hits in the inning, and they've scored 3 runs to take a 6-0 lead on 6 hits off Pizzardo. Pizzardo retired the first 7. Really was sailing along, and then he walked Lugo on 4 pitches. The number 8 hitter, which began the problem for Yorman tonight. 6-0 St. Louis. Back in a moment.
Of the game, and these guys are Ken and Ben. Turn around, guys. Berkman Pujols jerseys. They coexist together, best of friends. You guys tell us a little bit about the rivalry here, but you come out and enjoy a lot of games together, don't you?
I've always been an Astros fan. Ben, sadly enough, has always been a Cardinals fan. We take a good pride in our fun and our common rivalry of the baseball game, and we always try and make it out to at least 1 or 2 of the games when the Cardinals come to town. I'm not having a whole lot to root for right now, so I'm doing the best I can.
All right, now, Ben, I said I probably wasn't going to talk to you because I don't know what you're going to say, but I know you come out here, you enjoy the experience, even though you are, sadly enough, a Cardinals fan.
I do. I enjoy the ballpark, but not so much the team, but I enjoy the ballpark, and I'm especially enjoying the game tonight.
All right, guys, well, thanks so much. You are our progressive fans of the game. I'm giving this to Ken. Ben, you just go ahead and sit down.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Patty.
Ben and Ken.
Ben and Ken.
Skip Schumacher has a 1-1 pitch coming from Wesley Wright. He fouls it. It's 1-2. Wesley pitched Saturday at Milwaukee. He gave up a hit to Prince Fielder. And those are his numbers for the year. His last 4 outings, he has not retired a batter, giving up a total of 5 hits. There's an out on Schumacher via strikeout to end the Cardinal 4th inning. Cardinals come up with 3 runs, 4 hits, and leave a man. They lead it 6-0. What Hall of Fame pitcher holds the record for most homers allowed in a season? I kind of like Robin Roberts for that. Although in a season, I would go for him for a career. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Every time I guess, I get chastised for guessing too soon and not letting people think about it.
Okay, that's because you're always right.
Robin Roberts is good. Fergie Jenkins, Catfish Hunter, with a lot of home runs.
Yeah, he did. Strike to Miguel Tejada. He has the only Astro hit through the first 3. Line drive to right field in the first inning. Joel Pinheiro now has been spotted with a 6-0 lead.
Got it right where we want him.
No balls, 2 strikes. Pinheiro shooting for win number 15. He would be the 3rd Cardinal to win that many if he gets it. Line shot left field. That's fair. And hops into the corner. Tejada heads for another double. His 42nd of the year. And Albert Pujols tied in doubles for 2nd.
Who's first? Hanley Ramirez?
Check.
Oh, Pablo Sandoval maybe. Sandoval's got a bunch of those.
Yeah, he must have hit one last night.
2-strike pitch. Trying to come in on him and maybe equal to the task.
Sandoval's got 43. Miggy 2 for 2. Lance Berkman, the batter.
Well, there was a reference in the newspaper the other day about Miggy, when we were talking about playing Manzella some, and apparently Miggy, pointed out that he had some goals he wanted to reach and wanted to continue playing as much as possible. So maybe that's what he was thinking about, the opportunity to lead the league in doubles. That's no small thing.
No. Berkman hit a fly ball, caught by Holliday, jumping up from the warning track in left field. That's ball 1. Cardinals have voided the contract for the 16-year-old Dominican outfielder named Wagner Mateo today. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mateo did not pass his physical, so the contract was voided. So the $3 million payment will not be forthcoming to young Mateo from the St. Louis Cardinals. Strike to Berkman. That makes it 1-2 to Lance. Norman Bizzardo, 3 2/3 innings allowed, 6 hits, 6 runs. He walked 2 and fanned 2. Pinheiro, if he wins 15, he'll join Wainwright and Carpenter, Cardinal pitchers who have won 15 or more this year. 2-2. Adam Wainwright's 18-8 with a 2.59 ERA. Chris Carpenter 16-4 with a 2.37. Both strong Cy Young contenders. Tim Lincecum spit the bit a little bit in his last start. Important game, didn't pitch well for the Giants. He seems to be dropping back right now, the Cy Young candidacy. Opinions of some anyway. Bounce foul, first base side.
Let's take a poll.
Okay. I like Wainwright.
Who can record this for us? Greg? On Facebook? Can we count the
Greg
votes?
Greg might be able to do a Facebook poll. We haven't tried that yet, have we?
We used to do that.
We did used to have polls. Well, this would be a good time to bring that back. We didn't consult with Greg, of course. 3-2. Well, we've been looking at the stat sheet of the Cardinals. Wainwright doesn't have quite the ERA that Carpenter does. 2.34 for Carpenter, 2.59 for Wainwright. Wainwright's pitched 219 innings. Carpenter 180. And Wainwright still has 2 more starts. He could win 20. But however you rank those two, that's a heck of a 1-2 punch for the playoffs.
He was certainly, it's interesting, in ERA in the National League, 1, 2, 3, 4, Cardinals, Giants. Carpenter, Lincecum, Wainwright, Matt Cain.
Workman takes a walk. First and second, nobody out for Lee now. Second walk for Pinheiro. That's number 90 for Lance. Pinheiro turning 31 in 3 more days. Will make this 15-win season. His best was 16 in 03. So he gets a win tonight. Carlos line to left in the first, really crushed the ball, but Matt Holliday got over toward the gap and caught it. And that's ball 1. Dave Clark had a brief meeting with the Astros players today before batting practice. Shot into center field. Tejada coming to third. Stop sign from Al Pedrique. The bases are loaded on the single by Lee. But Jeff Blum gets a shot with nobody out.
Well, you're down 6 runs. You're only going to get so many chances to get back in. This is a huge inning for the Astros. Got to make something out of this. At least get 2 of these home to feel good about your chances.
Pedrique sent Jeff Blum last night. Blum scoring on a close play at the plate. Dave Clark said he loved that. He likes aggressive third base coaching. Here it didn't make sense. Blum walked on 4 pitches in the second.
I'm a big fan of smart third base coaching.
Blum with a fly ball to left. Holliday with Tejada tagging. Tejada comes to the plate and it's cut off. Sac fly, 6-1. Blum getting his 48th run batted in.
All right, there's one. I'll hit one in the alley, and we'll have ourselves a ball game. Well, better than that, hit one over the wall. We'll have ourselves a ball game. Dave Clark is an interesting guy. Good major league player for a number of years. An outstanding amateur boxer as a kid, 26-0 as an amateur with 13 knockouts, Golden Gloves. And that's 3 rounds of fighting with headgear. That's a pretty good punch when you're knocking out 13 guys in 3 rounds with headgear.
With headgear, yeah. Strike to Hunter Pence, who bounced into a double play.
Brings a lot of energy to that dugout.
Well, you might have seen his comment earlier on Astros Live, but he got a whole lot of calls and text messages last night that kept him up a good part of the evening. He said it was a good thing. Grounded foul.
He was a first-round pick of the Indians back in 1983. Played collegiately at Jackson State. Tupelo, Mississippi. Big family. 13, 14 kids, something like that. Brother played in the NFL. Lewis
and Clark?
No, just Lewis Clark.
Lewis Clark. 1 and 2. Well, we're hearing nothing but rave reviews about Dave and the way he handled himself as the skipper at Corpus Christi and Round Rock, dealing with the media. Where you see the record, which doesn't really tell the story of a minor league manager, but he was manager of the year at Corpus Christi. 06. Starting out as a manager in the Pirate chain at Lynchburg and Hickory. And he admitted, as anybody would who's managed a big league club, you take over in middle September. That's not the same as taking a club to spring training. If you do that, that's your team. He's taking over someone else's team now. He did talk briefly with Cecil Cooper yesterday, but plans to visit with him more extensively. Slider and a strikeout. That's out number 2. Third strikeout for Pinheiro. Let's see.
It's we've reworked the trivia. He was not a Hall of Famer. He was an All-Star.
Okay.
Holds the record for most home runs allowed this season. That makes you start to think about Burt Blylock. Yeah.
There you go.
Should be a Hall of Famer, though.
Yes. It'll be nice to see him in. 50 home runs allowed in 1986. Jeff Keppinger grounded out to shortstop earlier. The Astros could sure use a big hit from him right here. There's strike one, trailing 6-1. They had the bases loaded, nobody out, got 1 run home. But then Pinheiro struck out Pence. Coles is on deck.
Pinheiro, we talked about his sinker and how many ground balls he gets, but he's breaking out a nice little slider here too. That's what he used to punch out Pence. Then he got ahead of Keppinger with it.
Dodgers lead at Washington 10-2. They're in the top of the 7th inning. Rota pitching. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So if you're Joe Torre, who's the first man out of the gate in the playoffs here? Kuroda? Is it Billingsley?
It's hard to figure right now. A lot of people think the Cardinals might have the best shot. You have to acknowledge the Phillies certainly again, what they've done. And the Rockies have gotten really hot in the second half. Ground ball. Schumacher over to Pujols. Good play to retire the side with 1 run scoring on 2 hits. 2 men left. Pinheiro leads it 6-1.
The first pitch, the last man to walk on the moon, Captain Gene Cernan. And first of all, tell us about the going out there, throwing the first pitch, and being able to do it with your grandsons here.
Best part of it, Patty. I've had a chance to do that at the Astrodome. When they opened the Astrodome, how many thousands of years ago was that? We did it, and I've done it here one time. But bringing these kids here was fun. This is Jackson.
Hi, Jackson. Hi.
Carson.
Hi, Carson.
And his lovely date for tonight.
All right, we'll keep her out of this for now. Now, the last man to walk on the moon. Obviously, when you did it, not something you thought, unfortunately, you would be the last at the time. But just to give us a little glimpse of what that was like for you.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I thought we'd be long back by now. My glass has been half empty for a long time. I'm trying to get it to the point where it's half full. We will go back. This age group will not only take us back to the moon, but they have the same opportunities I had. You'll see his age group walk on Mars. I promise.
And Jackson, I know you've told some of your friends that old Grandpa here has walked on the moon. That's got to be pretty cool. You tell us what you did. You called him in to talk to your class?
I had to introduce him.
He came in to talk to the class guys, and Gene thought he was going in to talk to one class, ended up talking to 6 classes of third graders. So obviously still a pretty impressive story to tell.
Go to the Moon is great, but this is what it's all about. The kids, the fans, Houston. I've been here, and I'm a Texan. I've been here more than half my life, a lot more than half my life, and I love it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for telling us your story, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
He's very humble about it. Seems to prefer life here on the Moon. Leadoff single by Rasmus.
Can't get a Starbucks on the Moon. Well, maybe you can. I'm not sure.
There might be one up there by now.
Right next to the Mickey D.
Albert Pujols looks at ball 1. He has an RBI single and 2 trips. Pujols now with 129 runs batted in. A real shot at leading the majors. He and Prince Fielder in a good RBI battle to do that. It's 2 balls, no strikes. 129 for Albert, 128 for Prince. Ryan Howard is right there too at 123. Top 3 are in the National League this year.
Clearly the dominant league.
Single through the left side by Pujols gives him a 2-for-3 night. Rasmus to second.
Tell you what, the Astros are lucky the Cardinals are making some outs on the bases, the way they're swinging the bats tonight.
They have 8 hits. They're all singles. But you're right. Well connected. Holiday opened the 4th inning with a single to left. He came around to score. He's 1 for 2. And that's a .374 lifetime hitter against Houston coming into this game tonight. Strike 1 to him. He's among the leaders among active players in batting average for a career against the Astros. Andy Ramirez is number 1 at .425. Omar Garciaparra .379. Strike for Wesley Wright. No balls, 2 strikes for Wes. In that Dodger game, Adam Dunn for Washington hit his 38th home run. Casey Blake hit number 18 for Los Angeles. Looks like another 40 home run year for Adam Dunn.
Pretty steady, isn't he?
He really is amazing. The home runs and the walks.
Everybody seems to want to focus on what Adam Dunn can do. Boy, he strikes out a lot, and he's kind of a lumbering outfielder and not a great first baseman, but you know, year in, year out, a guy gives you 40 bombs and all those walks, high on base percentage.
Playing half his games in Washington now, 40 bombs.
Yeah, he could help. He could help your lineup. Now, Wesley with 2 changeups down this sequence to Holiday, and that's one of the pitches he's going to be. One of the things he's going to be focusing on in winter ball is finding consistency with the changeup. Working out of the pen the last couple of years, he's been primarily fastball, breaking ball pitcher, but competing for a rotation spot next spring is the plan. So the changeup could be a big part of it for him. Come up with that 3rd pitch. Nice to see him break it out here. And there's a cross-up. Pujols is looking for a fastball.
3-2. Instead, he got a curve.
Not that this would be the situation, but earlier when Bizardo was out there, I was thinking back to when Tony Pena was catching here. And there were times when the pitcher would be nibbling and kind of tiptoeing around a hitter, and Tony wouldn't even put a signal down. He'd just take his glove and flip it. So come on, fastball right here.
Right.
Throw it down the middle. Trust your stuff.
Detroit leads 3-0 at Cleveland. They're in the middle of the 8th now. The Tigers just got 2 in the top of the 8th inning. With Edwin Jackson on the mound. Aaron Laffey started for the Tribe. Runners going and foul. Detroit with that 2.5 game lead over Minnesota, finding it to be a big game tonight. Detroit has won 11 of 15 from Cleveland. And there's still talk that the Indians may dump Eric Wedge as their skipper.
They're falling behind Kansas City now into last place in the American League Central. Dropped 8 in a row. look at that general malaise going on there.
He was the
cloud hanging over him.
He was the commanding general of one of my units I served in, by the way. But you know, just thinking about Ed Wade joining us last night, and afterwards on the way home, thinking about this move the Astros made and the timing of it. If it was to be made anyway at the end of the season, it seems to make sense to go ahead and make it when they did, because it kind of gives them a jump. Let's say the Indians are looking for a manager also. Let's say they're looking for the same guy. It gives them a little jump, plus just organizational planning.
Yeah, well, Ed implied last night that he wasn't in a big hurry to name the full-time manager. I think he just, because the team was just losing every day, I think he basically got tired of watching it and said, let's try something. You know, they'd obviously made up their mind they were going to let Coop go and go in a different direction. And I think if the team had been playing halfway decent ball at the time, they probably would have let Coop manage out the rest of the year. But you know, once they made that determination, let's pull the plug and go in a different direction. And why not go ahead and do it? Couldn't have been a whole lot of fun for Coop either.
Ball 4, Holiday walks, bases loaded, nobody out for Rick Ankiel now.
And you're coming to the ballpark every day, and these rumors are circling around that you might be out of a job, and so you're managing like crazy, hoping that a few wins can make the difference for you down the stretch. But clearly, I don't think that was going to be the case.
Dewey Robinson was on the phone to the bullpen. Now he comes out. Bases loaded, nobody out.
So, and you know, the interesting situation now is for the coaches on this staff. There's no guarantee that any of these guys are going to be back next year. And you want to give the new manager, whoever it is, some leeway in helping to put his staff together. But you come to the ballpark every day and you prepare and you be professional and go out and try to win a game. But it's the life these guys have chosen, and they've all been through it.
Rick Ankiel, the batter. He takes strike one. Mark DeRosa's on deck with the Cardinals leading 6-1. They've out hit the Astros 8-3. He's only a 179 career hitter with the bases loaded. Cincinnati 6, Pittsburgh 3. They're in the top of the 7th at Pittsburgh. No balls, 2 strikes. With Cincinnati coming into Minute Maid Park Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Reds have the opportunity to go head-to-head against the Astros. We're 1 game in front of them for 4th place. Ankiel actually has hit lefties better than right-handers this year. It's a batting average, but no homers. Wandy Rodriguez last night gave up 9 hits and 6 runs in 5 innings, taking the loss. Cardinals winning at 7-3 behind Kyle Loesch. Now the game has really slowed down here.
So this would be a good night if I were commissioner and we had changed the rules. 1 game out of every series was match play. We'd only be down to 2 holes to 1 right now instead of 6 to 1.
Mark DeRosa's on deck. Bud Norris goes tomorrow night against John Smoltz. Double play ball here. The flip from Keppinger to Tejada. And the relay on to Berkman. A run scores 7-1 on the double play. No RBI for Ankiel, with Rasmus scoring and Pujols taking 3rd.
Well hit, but right at Keppinger, an easy double play. Let the Cardinals get 1 more.
Mark DeRosa singled in a run to right field in the 4th inning and later came around to score. He's 1 for 2. It's ball 1 to him. Molina on deck. Reds started Johnny Cueto tonight. He gave up 2 runs in 5 innings against Zach Duke. 1 ball, 1 strike for Wesley Wright.
See, they put a life-size portrait of Tommy Lasorda in the Smithsonian.
No.
Today's Tommy's birthday, too. He shares a birthday with Dirk. Tommy Lasorda, 82 today. 60 by 50 in the National Portrait Gallery. Joan Jett, David Stern, Tommy Lasorda, Bob Lemon, Hooks Doss.
Who is Hooks?
He's a ball player. Ronaldo, he's a soccer player.
Yeah. 3 balls and a strike. Do we know who Hooks Doss is?
Yeah, he probably had a good curveball.
Hey guys, I got to pipe in on another birthday today.
Okay.
It's my daughter Kennedy's 11th birthday. So Kennedy, if you're home watching while your mother's not there with you, happy 11th birthday, baby.
Ground ball to third. Blum. Throw to Berkman. Happy birthday, Kennedy. 1 run, 2 hits.
He's too smart to be watching this.
7-1 Cardinals.
Kids are free tickets in partnership with Minute Maid. For every full price adult ticket you purchase in the view deck or mezzanine, you can get 2 free tickets in the same price level for kids 14 and under. For more information, visit Astros.com or stop by the Minute Maid Park box office. Guys?
Thanks, Patty. Bottom of the 5th inning. It's 7-1 Cardinals.
Those guys have school tomorrow?
Nope. J.R. Tolles with a drive to center. Colby Rasmus on the run. Good catch. One out of the home 5th inning.
A good aggressive swing there by JR. Seemed very tentative at times, but he went there whacking this time and gave it a good ride. Unfortunately for him, Rasmus, a good center fielder, was able to track it down.
Now Darren Erstad will pinch hit for Wright. Rasmus with a good play, retreating on that catch. Erstad back from a series of injuries, carries a .200 batting average. 2 homers, 11 runs batted in for 125 at bats. As a pinch hitter, Darren has 11 hits and 53 at bats with a homer.
This guy is the ultimate pro. I was watching him during BP yesterday. When's the last time Darren has played the field?
Oh,
I can't remember.
Long time.
He hasn't played the field. He hasn't been hitting much because he's been banged up, so he hasn't been able to get that many pitches. He's out there during BP yesterday. I mean, just stays so true to his program. He's down there taking ground balls at first base. He always takes a bunch with his hand, his throwing hand behind his back, so he has to really work on his glove work. And just as diligent, taking all his ground balls, throwing to second base, doing the whole program. And I'm telling you, I've been around a lot of clubs. Late in the year, veteran guys on a team that's going south, a lot of guys shut it down in terms of some of that prep work. I mean, they still play hard and they try to win, but this guy's preparation is just incredible.
Looks like maybe August 27th was the last time he played in the field. He started that game at St. Louis, but he is a worker, constantly in motion. He now has the highest outfield fielding percentage in the major leagues of all time for a career. He also won a Gold Glove at first base. Still 1-2. Erstad trying to get the Astros' 43rd pinch hit of the year. Michael Bourne is on deck. Red Sox lead it. No, they trail at Kansas City, as you mentioned earlier. 5-0. The Royals got 5 in the first for Zach Greinke off Paul Bird.
Zach Greinke, I think he's my American League Cy Young.
Yeah. He's given up 1 hit in 5 innings. Trying to become the first Kansas City 15-game winner since Paul Bird. His mound opponent tonight.
How ironical. Leads the American League, Greinke does, with a 2.14 earned run average. Forget about the wins. So he's on a bad club. As a matter of fact, the fact that he's got 14 on that Royals club really enhances his case. Second to Verlander in strikeouts. I heard an interesting argument the other day, though, somebody put forth for Roy Halladay.
All right.
And I haven't really, you try to break this thing down so many different ways. He said, think about Roy Halladay pitching in that American League East. All the games he gets against the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Rays, those better lineups. And so, I mean, if you want to break it down one more, you can actually go, well, kind of like a strength of schedule argument when you talk about the Cy Young Award. I can't work that hard. It's way too much for me to get into, but I could see where somebody would do it. That therefore make a pretty compelling case for Roy Halladay.
There are many different ways of looking at things statistically, but Greinke would seem to be a compelling choice right now for Cy Young.
It kind of grabbed your attention the way he started the season. Came out of the gates, he's pitching so well, and fell off a wee bit, and then he got hot again.
Strikeout for Pinheiro. That's number 4. Mostly right in 1 1/3 innings. Gave up 2 hits, 1 run, with 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
Pretty good looking change up there by Pinheiro. He's got all 4. We've seen a good slider. We've seen the sinker. Not too many curveballs. He's flipped a couple up there.
Bourne drops a bunt, but it's foul. Strike 1. With those numbers, Pinheiro 1 out away from qualifying for win number 15. Game 2 of the doubleheader in Florida. It's the Marlins 3, the Phillies nothing. Bottom of the 7th inning. Jamie Moyer starting for the Phillies against Sanchez. Liner into center field. And Michael Bourne takes out his line drive swing. He had been slumping the last few games. Miguel Tejada 2 for 2. Let's go back to our Reliant Energy power play from last night. Miggy hit a home run his first time up.
Home run number 12 for Mickey this year. Cubs have been working him hard in with the fastball. He's shown the ability to turn on it a little bit here in recent days.
Bourne just snapped an 0 for 16 with that hit. Now Tejada with a single and a double tonight. Tries to move him along. He attracts a throw. Michael leads the league with 58 stolen bases. Only 3 stolen base seasons have been better in Astros history than his 58. Tejada looks at ball 1. The Phillies won the opener of that doubleheader at Florida 9-3. So Florida's angling for a split tonight.
Joe Blanton beat Josh Johnson. Johnson punched out 10 in 5 innings. Suffered the loss.
One ball third, backhanded. DeRosa with a long throw to Pujols. Good play. To end the 5th inning with no runs a hit and the man stranded through 5. It's 7-1 Redbirds. '17 holds and 11 saves. Just as these middle relievers keep their team in the game, you can too with Just for Men hair color. You happen to be chatting tonight. I was asking Hawk, who's the best manager you played for in the big leagues at using the bullpen? And he said Tom Kelly. He also said Ron Gardenhire was very good. He said it's important for the pitching coach really to take over and communicate with the pitchers for the manager and keep him up to date.
Yeah, well, it's a big job managing, so you have to be able to delegate, lean heavily on your coaches.
Doug Brocail throws, and it's a ground ball from Molina. Jeff Plum takes care about number 1-on-1 pitch for Brocail.
How come you can come into the game as a relief pitcher with a lead and get a hold, but you can't come into the game when you're trailing, and if you hold the other club right there,
well,
it should be a hold too.
Yes, you bring up a good point. You're still doing your job.
Bogus, man.
It is bogus. A lot of things are bogus in baseball. Julio Lugo has an RBI on a ground out and a walk and a run scored.
We need a new stat. There's not enough stats in this game.
We were trying to come up with one.
We need to keep him right there.
Yeah.
He's got 14 keep him right there this year.
Asking Larry Durker about that about 3 or 4 years ago, because somebody came up with a point system for runners inherited. Which, if you think about it, puts another twist on it, right?
Right. Yeah. That can be really bogus too. That whole runners inherited thing.
Yeah. Now, I think the system they came up with was if Doug Brocail comes in with the bases loaded, nobody out, and for that runner at third, he gets something like 9 points if that guy doesn't score. So it's on a point basis. But he gets a lot more points if the guy was at third when he came in and didn't score than if the guy was at first.
So it's a combination of how many men on base plus how many outs you get.
Right.
But sometimes the guy will come in with runners on second and third, walk a hitter, and be pulled. And he said, well, he came in with 2 inherited runners and they didn't score, and he'll be credited with that. And that's bogus.
Yeah.
Into his job.
It's another bogus thing. So
you got to get outs, too.
Yeah, you do. And I asked Dirk what he thought about that. And he said, well, I think the best way you can do it with relief pitchers is just if you've watched a lot of baseball, if you think they did a good job, put a check mark down.
Like a plus and minus system. I'm on board with that.
2 outs. What's on tap with the Astros is brought to you by Bud Light. It's John Smoltz, 16 career wins against the Astros, but now he's a Cardinal, and he faces Bud Norris. And Bud, with his first major league start in that win at St. Louis, really brilliant.
Put an A on his hat, because I'm not used to seeing him with anything but.
Yeah. Well, he's looking just as intent as last night at this game. And 2 outs. Nobody on. Joel Pinheiro, the batter. And they strike one.
What's the I'm not sure what his plan is, but I know there was a time where he had designs on professional golf career when he got done playing baseball. Maybe he'd make a run at the senior tour.
Very good. Very good. No balls, 2 strikes. And there have been baseball players like Robin Yount, who are excellent golfers.
But Hawk, Ken Harrelson.
The Hawk.
Played some pro events. On the regular tour, he played a couple events, I believe.
Rick Rhoden.
Ricky Rose tearing up that celebrity tour.
Yes, he is. Smoltz might be able to do that. The Hall of Fame career he's had. But then, on the other hand, if you're doing that full time now, it's a different animal. You're competing with guys who have been out there playing for all those years that you've been playing baseball.
Probably why you want to go back into the rotation from the pen. Pitch one day, play golf the other 4. It's a pretty good program.
Yes, it is. Fly ball to center field. Michael Bourne catches the fly from Pinheiro for a 1-2-3. Brocail, 6th inning, 7-1 Cardinals.
This week, Fox NFL Sunday returns as Drew Brees and the Saints head to Buffalo to take on Terrell Owens and the Bills. Coverage begins Sunday with America's #1 pregame show at 11 a.m. Central in high definition, guys.
Drew Brees will win that game, Patty, don't you think?
Well, I'm hoping not. Since Terrell Owens is on my fantasy team, I'm going to look to put up a fight.
What are you counting on from him? About 10 or 11 catches?
Counting on or hoping for?
Depends on whether he's healthy, right?
I'll go with it.
Okay.
Where's that, in New Orleans, or is it in Buffalo?
It's in Buffalo.
Well, it might be snowing.
Lance Berkman's 0 for 1 with a walk. 7-1 Cardinals. Pinheiro deals strike 1.
Guys, I will also be out at Texans this Sunday as well. We got to throw in a little plug for them, how well they did last week.
Yes. That was an exciting game for them. Bouncer over the mound. Shortstop Lugo picks it up in the short hop and makes a good play. Well, Lance really upset, but Lugo made a play on him. He ranged far to his left,
started towards the bag to begin with, and then way on the second base side, an off-balance throw on the money to get the Puma. It looked like Matt Schaub on a rollout. I was talking to Lance at the clubhouse before the game, and he said his knee was barking a little bit. And he said, yeah, you know, you wake up every morning and you spin the wheel. And the wheel of ailments. I'm trying to what body part is hurting, and today it came up knee. Wheel of ailments.
2 outs for Pinheiro.
One day it's the back, the next day it's the knee, maybe the shoulder.
A long list this time of year from many players. Jeff Blum with a sac fly and a walk tonight. Cubs lead 7-1 at Milwaukee, bottom of the 5th inning. Now they've ended 5. Benny Wells starting for Chicago against Dave Bush.
Yeah, we were hoping that the Cardinals wouldn't clinch in this series. If the Astros would at least win one game, take care of business.
Toward the gap in right center field, and Asmus can't quite get there. Blum has a double. His 14th of the year. Asmus made a good effort, but had a long way to run.
Cardinals hang on and win this ball game. Their magic number will be down to 2, even if the Cubs win. It would be 1 if the Brewers were to rally and beat the Cubs. What's the pitching matchup here tomorrow?
Pitching matchup tomorrow is Bud Norris and John Smoltz. Now let's take you back to 1991.
All right, what's going on there?
Didn't John Smoltz pitch the clincher for the Braves against the Astros that year in Atlanta?
I have no recollection. I was in a cab headed to the airport before that one finished.
Oh, that's right. Tag at first by Pujols, and he's holding his left hand as he tagged Hunter Pence for that final out there in the 6th inning. No runs, a hit, man left. Pujols might have hurt himself on this tag. Lugo's throw pulled him off the bag, and here's the tag, and he immediately started holding that left hand. By the Ford F-150, by AT&T, by Jack Daniels, and by MD Anderson Cancer Center. Sam Houston. It is 7-1. Cardinals leading. Top of the 7th inning coming up, and it's Tim Burdack on the mound for the Astros. He's pitcher number 4. Doug Brocail had a 1-2-3 6th inning, and Burdack, busiest season of his major league career, has had 69 appearances with a 1-2 record. Skip Schumacher grounds. Lance Berkman is there. Crossing to Burdack. One pitch, one out in the 7th.
Birdman sloughing off, didn't pitch yesterday. What's going on, man? He and Hervasio, it seems like they're out there every day.
Yeah, they have been pitching a lot recently. Usually it's not for very long.
John Smoltz pitched the next to the last day of the season, beat the Astros. I don't know if that was the clincher or not. The game before Steve Avery pitched. So one of those two.
I thought it was Smoltz, but we're still checking. He pitched a complete game that day, but we're not sure it was the clincher. Rasmus has a walk, a single, has scored 2 runs, and there's strike 1. So it could come full cycle if he did, in fact, it's that clinching game in 91.
Oh, yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, he could do it again. And how many pitchers have done that?
Pitched 2 clinchers like that?
Well, that many years apart. 91 and 09. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to go with not many.
You are correct, sir. It's hit to right field deep. Hunter Pence backing and looking up. That's a home run. Line drive shot. Colby Rasmus hits number 16 to make it 8-1 Redbirds. And he is scoring his 3rd run of the game to give him 69 runs scored this year.
She is conflicted. Go ahead and keep the souvenir. Don't throw it back. Keep it. Keep it. Put it in your purse. Early in the year, Tim struggled against left-handed hitters, but he smoothed that out, and for the most part has been very good. This time, though, he left the pitch up in the eyes of Rasmus. Well, the Atlanta Braves won by a game that year. They were 94-68. The Dodgers finished 93 and 69.
It was the clinching game, we're told.
Yeah, because the Astros won that final game of the season.
So at age 42, John Smoltz might have some key moments left in him. And he could be headed for the bullpen in the postseason. That has not been determined, as anybody's been told publicly anyway. 3 balls, no strikes. Dave Duncan talked about it tonight, just as one possibility when it was tossed out there. But he also said that the guys they've been using, Jason Mott, Kyle McClellan, both of whom pitched last night, he said for the last month, both of those guys have been pitching well. Who holds on with a walk? It's the 110th walk for him this year. We were chatting about his pitch to contact philosophy. Matt Holliday, the batter, he has a single and a walk. And Dave pointed out, if you're going to do that, you have to have a good defensive team. So we have had good defensive teams. The catcher's a big part of that. So the pitcher has to gain confidence from the fact that the ball is going to be hit because so many plays are made behind him. Been a lot of quiet speculation in St. Louis about Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa being close to the end of their contracts. Lance Berkman over into foul ground. Well, that would be a cataclysmic shift if they both left, wouldn't it?
Well, it's been a nice long run. 14 years they've been running this ball club. They've had a lot of success. Dave Duncan done a lot of good work over the years getting guys headed in the right direction. And you can't take a guy with no talent and make him a good big league pitcher, but guys with talent who have struggled or maybe need just a little fine tuning, he's done a real nice job. You know, there have been some misses, there have been some that he hasn't been able to turn around, but he's had a lot of success. A lot of guys owe him a big debt of gratitude. Made a lot of money for a lot of people.
No balls, 2 strikes. Just talking with some of the folks who have been around for years in St. Louis, they said Jason Marquis really butted heads with him, and Dave's program didn't totally take with Marquis. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Anthony Reyes.
Yeah.
They trying to get him to sink the ball, and that really wasn't what he wanted to do, or maybe wasn't capable of doing.
That's a strikeout for Burdick, and the Rasmus home run adds to the Cardinal lead, which is now 8-1 in the 7th. Freeze cam showing you a home run in the top of the 7th from Colby Rasmus, the rookie who belted number 16 of the year. He's scoring a run for the 3rd time in this game. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brew. Coors Light. 8-1 Redbirds. Jeff Keppinger hits a 1-hopper to 3rd. Mark DeRosa takes care of out number 1 here in the home 7th for Joel Pinheiro. Keppinger 0 for 3. Astros 6, 7, 8, and 9 hitters have not reached base. They collected 0 for 10. J.R. Tolles sent one on a pretty good ride in the 5th inning, caught by Rasmus in center field after striking out looking in the 3rd. Astros have lost 8 in a row. They lost 8 straight last year. And to go back to their longer losing streak than that in recent years, they had a 10-game losing streak in the 07 season. Grounded to 3rd, backhanded DeRosa, and he gets Tolles for out number 2.
Yeah, hit that ball pretty well too. Pretty good swings, but nothing to show for it his last 2 trips up.
The Texas Ford dealers show you the league leaders, the Astros managers since 1989. Art Howe, Terry Collins. Note the change in style, if you will, from one to the next. Larry Durford, Jimmy Williams, Bill Garner, Cecil Cooper, and Dave Clark. And it's certainly not the case every time, but typically in baseball, things seem to swing from a laid-back type manager to more of a disciplinarian type. Not saying that that has been the pattern with all of those managers, but that might be the perception. Chris Johnson is the pinch hitter here from Tim Burdick.
Well, I'm not, other than Terry Collins, well, Bill Verdon had kind of a hard reputation. But other than Terry Collins, most of those guys on the list you wouldn't qualify as a disciplinarian or hard type guy.
Just different styles. Chris Johnson has a 1-2 count.
Yeah, a lot of times what happens is you'll hire a quote unquote players manager, and then the team will lose for a few years, and somebody will say, oh well, the clubhouse is run amok, the players are running the asylum, it's crazy in there. You need somebody to tighten this thing up, so you bring in the screamer and the yeller. And after a couple of years of that, if you can endure it, he's like, guy's a nut job. We need to get somebody in there who can deal with people.
Well, you played for Hal Lanier. He was very fiery. And then Art Howe came in. He had a totally different style, quiet style of communicating. Piñeiro's numbers, 32,644, the paid attendance.
I think the idea of a baseball manager as disciplinarian is pretty much gone by the boards. I don't think you can get away with that in this day and age.
After 7, it's 8-1 Redbirds. Eighth inning, time now for our Dodge Grab Live feature. Lance Berkman tells us who he thinks he resembles.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of. I mean, I've heard Tony Stewart. I've heard Vince Gill. I've heard different Phil Mickelson. It's anybody that has jowls and a big face, I get compared to a lot.
And the eighth inning begins with Chad Peranto on the mound and Tony Stewart at first base. Mark DeRosa has an RBI single in 3 trips, 9 hits, and 8 runs for the Redbirds. Looping single fielded by Carlos Lee. It's a big turn by DeRosa, and he's 2 for 4.
He's got like half the rosin bag up there on his head. Look at this man. This is one large human being.
Yes, he is. 16 pitches last night. He gave up 3 hits and a run in 1 inning against the Redbirds. He pitched the 6th inning last night. Gave up a homer to the first man he faced, DeRosa. Now DeRosa's on.
They're doing baking cookies out there in the bullpen?
Yep. You're ready for winter. There's Molina taking strike 1. Todd Wellemeyer and lefty Trevor Miller are warming up for the Redbirds.
I remember as a kid watching the Met games, and Joe Pignatano used to grow tomatoes in the bullpen at Shea Stadium.
You're right. Piggy did that. Deep drive to left field. Carlos Lee's not moving. 2-run homer. Molina, number 6 of the year, and it's 10-1. 51 runs batted in for Yadier Molina this season.
Now we were talking about him earlier, what a good defensive catcher he is and how he brings a little bit more to the party offensively in the last couple of seasons. hitting for a good average. You don't think of him in terms of the long ball, but got every bit of that one, and that's not out of that's not a Crawford box shot. That's out of just about any ballpark.
Yes.
Torch that one.
Pretty good drive in Yellowstone. In fact, there's ball one to Lugo. Lugo has an RBI on a ground out. Smacks that one foul. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Thurston's on deck. Cardinals preparing to pinch hit for Pinheiro and get their bullpen into the game. St. Louis shooting for win number 89 of this season. The way the race is for home field advantage, the Dodgers have won 90 and lost 60. The Cardinals are pushing them. The Phillies are 87 and 61 before today, and they could be 1-1 the split of the doubleheader. Yes, they have lost. So Phillies now 88 and 62. Home field still very much up for grabs in the National League for the playoffs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Did you see that?
Playoffs.
Did you see that new format? I think they might have used it last year in the American League. The team with the best record in the American League gets to decide which format. Berkman.
In terms of the opponent or how the games are played out with the off days, right?
Yeah, the schedule.
Not the opponent.
Right. So they get to decide whether to play that series over, I believe it's either 7 games or 9 games.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So depending if you feel like you have a deeper rotation, you're going to try to jam those games together.
Yes.
And if you have Kevin Brown, you're going to try to space it out.
You saw that. 98. Joe Thurston, 229, 1 homer, 25 runs batted in. Thurston has had quite a bit of playing time, 258 at bats, more early in the season though. As a pinch hitter, he's 7 for 30 and he's driven in 3. He came through the Dodgers system. And into center field for Joe Thurston, a pinch single, hit number 3 of the inning for the Redbirds.
Well, be sure to visit the official online shop of the Astros at Astros.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Astros.com shop, guys.
Looks like some of those folks were shopping there. Thank you, Patty. Runner at first, Thurston. Schumacher the batter. Schumacher's 1 for 4, an RBI single in the 3rd. 12 hits for the Redbirds now, 5 for the Astros. And it's strike 1 for Paranto. The Twins lead the White Sox 7-5 at Chicago in the bottom of the 7th inning. Twins trying to keep their hopes alive to overtake Detroit. Bouncer, and that's foul.
Bonus trivia tip coming our way now.
Okay.
Were the players involved in the last trade between the Astros and the Cardinals? Frequent trading partners over the years. But you got to go way back in the annals of the history of the Houston Astros and St. Louis Cardinals to find the last time these two made a trade.
Was Denny Walling involved?
Ooh, man. That is really something.
But it's not right, is it?
No, it is right.
Fly ball left field. Carlos Lee back. 2 outs.
That would have been August 31st, 1988. Denny Walling for Bob Forsch.
Forsch, yeah.
How about that?
Very nice, JD.
That's Boots. It's from the library of Phil Boudreau.
And does he have the Larry Dierker, Joe Ferguson trade in that library too between Cardinals and Astros?
He does. Joe Ferguson, Bobby Deathridge for Jerry Devannon and Larry Dierker, November 23rd, 1976.
Oh, yeah.
Jose Cruz sold to the Astros by the Redbirds on October of '74.
Another of the great transaction in Houston baseball history. Rasmus has a single, a homer, and a walk. 3 runs scored for Colby Rasmus.
Got a Jeopardy question for you.
Okay.
The category is pitchers under Dave Duncan. We're talking about Dave Duncan tonight. And this is today in baseball history. This former Dave Duncan pitcher becomes the first pitcher since Jim Palmer to win 20 games in 3 consecutive seasons by beating the Twins 5-2. It happened on this date in 1989.
Dave Stewart.
You are correct, sir. Didn't even get to play the Jeopardy music.
2-1 to Rasmus. It's 2-2. Well, we were talking about that very thing with Dave Duncan on the field tonight, and about Dave Stewart. And he said, well, yeah, he'd been released before he came to Oakland. And when he said that, I thought, well, maybe he was released twice. He was a Dodger and a Ranger, right?
Dodger, Ranger, Philly before he was an A.
That's right. So he may have been released more than once.
You know, he had a big arm. He came to the big leagues at a young age. So obviously he had tremendous talent. But yeah, he really struggled. 7-14 with the Rangers in 1984.
Now, if memory serves, his big epiphany was learning the split-fingered fastball, right?
Yeah. Yep. 4 consecutive 20-win seasons for Stewart, 87, 88, 89, and 90. Of course, that's when the A's were going to the World Series.
Yeah.
Almost every year.
Thurston going. That could fall as a hit inside the left field line. It does. Thurston checks in at third. And the looping single by Rasmus. Rasmus on for the 4th straight time. It's 13 hits for the Redbirds. Now it's Albert Pujols. Just the guy you want to face when you're trailing 10-1. 2 outs and 2 on in the 8th inning. Chad Prado was called up. He had gone home presumably after the end of the AAA season for Round Rock.
And that's why he wasn't available the other day. It had been so long between outings that Dewey took him down to the bullpen and worked him out pretty good. Shut him down for a day or two after that.
Strike to Pujols. So it's a matter of building up some arm strength again, getting ready to compete again after thinking that he had gone home at the end of the season. But then Billy Sadler came up injured, and the Astros called on Toronto to provide another arm. Fouled away, and it's no balls, 2 strikes to Prince Albert. Pujols a 13th round draft choice in '99.
It's going to get some scouts fired.
Oh, yeah. It's 1-2 to Albert. Albert came into this season a .334 career hitter in the majors.
Today is also the anniversary of Nolan Ryan's final big league appearance. Back in '93, blew out his elbow pitching against Seattle.
Bouncer to second. Keppinger to Berkman. And in the 7th inning, it's 2 runs coming over for the Cardinals. On 4 hits, they leave 2, and it's 10-1 St. Louis. It's time to bring you up to speed with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Tony La Russa has made a myriad of changes. Skip Schumacher, who started at second, is now the left fielder for the Cardinals. Yadier Molina, who started at catcher, is now playing first base with Albert Pujols coming out of the game. At second base, it's Joe Thurston. He just pinch hit for the pitcher, Joel Pinheiro. Trevor Miller is the new pitcher, and he has a new catcher as well. Jason LaRue, who started last night's game. So lots of changes here with the Cardinals leading at 10-1. Pinheiro in line for win number 15 of the year. In 7 innings, allowed 5 hits, 1 run. He walked 2, and he fanned 4.
This game feels like a spring training game.
Sure does.
Those changes. Lack of buzz in the ballpark. Trevor Miller's been really good for the Cardinals this year. Check out those numbers. 4-0 with a 177 ERA. Close to a 182 average.
Ball went to Michael Bourne. He snapped an 0 for 16 with a hit in the 5th inning. Pinheiro did an excellent job tonight. And the Astros trail by 9 as they bat in the 8th. It's a liner to right field. Rick Ankiel can't get to it. It smacks off the wall. Michael Bourne is held to a long single. Don't know that we've seen that happen. Bourne singling off the right field wall.
It was hit on a line. Ankiel got to it in a hurry, and Ankiel has a tremendous arm, the former pitcher, one of the better outfield arms in the league. And it would be silly to make an out on the bases down 10-1.
Bourne is 2 for 4. Miguel Tejada follows. He's 2 for 3. New ball 1 from Trevor. Trevor's convinced the Cardinals. He still has a lot left in the tank, and they've signed him to a contract extension. Lance Berkman's on deck. Line shot right center field. Bourne hits for third base. He should be able to come home on this one. And he will to make it 10-2. An RBI double for Tejada. 43rd double of the year now for Miggy. That ties him with Sandoval for the National League lead. It's his 78th run batted in.
Another 3-hit game for Miggy. He's had a bunch of those this year. Loves hitting in this ballpark. 9 of his 12 home runs have come here at home. This time he shoots one into the right center field alley. The comeback is on.
Back-to-back hits by Bourne and Tejada bring up Berkman. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. Miller, a 2-time Astro. He's had a nice career. There is strike 1.
Trevor was on that 97 team, right?
Yes, he was. He and Dennis Reyes are the lefties in the pen for the Redbirds. Fouled away 0-2. The Redbirds AAA affiliate Memphis playing in the AAA World Series tonight at Oklahoma City against Durham. Their season is ending tonight. So it's been the Cardinals that we saw in August. So far, they haven't made any additional September call-ups. Troy Gloss did not make the trip. He's hurting again. Now back, and it's still no balls, 2 strikes. Dave Duncan on the phone. Trevor Miller turned 36 back in May. He got a win at St. Louis against the Astros July 31st. Came in with a couple of men on base and struck out Michael Bourne to get that win, and he got a hold in St. Louis August 26th. Workman's down on strikes, 1 out. Our 4-game summary shows you here in the 8th inning the story of a 10-2 game. The Cardinals with 2 homers and 11 singles. 7 different players have driven in runs. Rasmus with a big night. Bizzardo got off to a nice start. He retired the first 7 and then ran into 3rd inning trouble. 3 runs scored in the 3rd, 3 more in the 4th. He's on the hook for his 2nd loss. Miguel Tejada going 3-4. Tony La Russa going to the bullpen again. Todd Wellemeyer's on his way in with the score 10. Yorman Bizzardo hustling over on a little dribbler by Matt Holliday to get Holliday in the 2nd inning.
Nice play. Yorman was throwing the ball well early on, and then ran into a buzzsaw. The Cardinals kicked a field goal in the 3rd and 4th. Bizzardo charged with 6 runs tonight. Got to learn from it and move on.
Carlos Lee takes ball 1 from Todd Wellemeyer.
One thing I think Dewey Robinson will point out to him when he looks at the video of this game, is he didn't really look that inside part of the plate or come hard in very often and make the hitters aware of both sides of the plate, or be very, very fine with your stuff.
2-0 for Wellemeyer, who's fallen upon hard times this season after a fine year last year. He was 13-9 last year with a 3.71 ERA, making 32 starts. He's been on the DL, just activated September 3rd. Rides it up and gets strike 1 from Carlos Lee. He was out with right elbow inflammation for about a month. He's 7-9 this time around with a 5.89 ERA.
He's made 21 starts, worked 4 times out of the pen as a starter. His ERA up over 6. Pretty hittable this year. High batting average. A fair number of long balls.
Long ball here. And Thurston gets it over to Molina. 2 outs, Tejada to 3rd. Tejada has tied his own club record for hits by a shortstop in a season with 179. Now it's Jeff Blum. Sacrifice fly, a double, and a walk. Wellemeyer was assigned to the bullpen after his start on July 26th. We're presumed to know where he stands in the pecking order for the postseason roster, but for some players this time of year on these playoff bound teams, that's a huge motivator. They don't really know whether they're going to be on that postseason roster or not. There's some jockeying for position here in the last couple of weeks.
That little funky wrap he does with his pitching arm. So the knee-jerk reaction was, well, get rid of that, smooth that out, and he'll have better command. But I doubt that this is something new, and he's pitched well with his delivery in the past.
Hunter Pence is on there.
So he kind of wraps it in the back.
One ball, 2 strikes to Jeff Blum. Wellemeyer from Louisville, Kentucky, to Bellarmine University. He was drafted by the Cubs in 2000 in the 4th round, and he bounced around from Florida to Kansas City. He was a waiver claim by the Cardinals in May of '07. Foul ball, and it's being chased, but out of play there. Still 1-2. Ed Wade endorsing a lot of playing time with us last night when he appeared for Blum and Tejada these final 2 weeks of the season. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Jeff's driven in 48 now. He had those back-to-back seasons with the Astros with 10 homers and 52 runs batted in. Hit well to right field. Ankiel back for the catch. 1 run, 2 hits, and a man stranded at third. After 8, it's 10-2 Redbirds. And it is Joel Pinheiro, 7 strong innings of 5-hit, 1-run baseball tonight. It could be win number 15 of the year for Pinheiro. The Astros tried to break through against him in the 4th inning. Gave up a run, but then shut it down as he had allowed a double, a walk, and a single. But then the Astros were never allowed to do anything more than score that 1 run.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Sac fly, strikeout, ground out there in the inning. The Astros pushed just 1 across, and that was pretty much the last best chance they had to get back into it. The Cardinals continued to play add-on here. So just an inning of work for Valverde in this blowout game. 4-2, 23 saves with an ERA of 2.02 for Big Val.
Well, the pitcher's spot leads it off here in the 9th inning. It's Todd Wellemeyer at the plate. That's strike 1 for Valverde. Trevor Miller worked 1/3 of an inning. He allowed 2 hits, 1 run with no walks and a strikeout. Wellemeyer, a 132 hitter for the season.
I wonder how his low post game is. Got some good inside moves. He's got kind of the Kevin McHale shoulder thing going on.
It really does. He rolls that one to Berkman. 1 out. Valverde coming in for work. He worked last Saturday in Milwaukee, and he had not worked since the previous Saturday Rick Ankiel is 1 for 4, scored a run after his single in the 4th inning.
Well, looks like the Astros are going to be tied for 5th after tonight's action. Reds lead the Pirates 10-4. Pirates batting in the bottom of the 9th.
And the Reds and Astros will duke it out over the weekend here. They strike 1 to Ankiel.
Rockies 7, Padres 6, bottom of the 5th in Colorado. Diamondbacks 5, Giants 4, bottom of the 3rd in Arizona.
Foul ball there by Ankiel. Takes the count to 0 balls, 2 strikes. Colorado with a 4-game lead over San Francisco in a wild card race.
The Rockies are going to get Aaron Cook back.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, that's a headline to that effect.
Rockies 38-24 since the All-Star break. Cardinals would be 40-21 since the break if they win this one.
Jim Tracy's got to be manager of the year, doesn't he?
I would think so. At least manager of the half year. Well, very seldom does a managerial change like that work out and a club come from the doldrums to a playoff spot. No balls, 2 strikes still for Ankiel. Boston batting in the top of the 9th at Kansas City trails the Royals 5-1. Minnesota 8, the White Sox 6, bottom of the 8th at Chicago. A crazy game with lots of homers. 1-2. So if the Cubs continue what they're doing, they're winning 7-1 in the middle of the 8th at Milwaukee. The Cardinal magic number, if St. Louis wins this one, would drop to 2. And they could still clinch tomorrow night if they win and the Cubs lose.
So if the Astros are going to lose tomorrow, they should lose early.
Right.
So the Cardinals can be sitting in their clubhouse if the Cubs happen to lose that game.
Yeah.
The Cubs play tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon?
We'll have to check. Not sure about that. Good question. In the dirt from Valverde. It's 2-2.
Today's schedule. Tomorrow's schedule. In the MLB notes. Tonight game in Milwaukee.
Yes. So they're starting at the same time as the Astros and Redbirds here. Just wondering about the Cardinals have a day off, I think, on Thursday. Fly ball to center field. Michael Bourne heads back for Tal's Hill. Turning, still going, turning back the other way. And it's off the wall. Now he gets away from him. Ankiel stretches out, heads for third base. Stop sign there. And he's aboard with a triple. His 2nd of the year. Almost a spectacular catch by Bourne.
Yeah, Rick Ankiel, I don't know how many balls he's hit better than this year because he absolutely crushes this one. But to a big part of the ballpark out there, 425, 430 feet away. We've seen Michael go up there and make some really nice catches this year. This time he comes up just a little bit short.
Runner at third with 1 out. That's hit number 14 for the Cardinals. Mark DeRosa is the batter. He's 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Fouls it back, strike 1. Valverde's thrown 11 pitches. Of course, the Astros aren't going to want him out there for a long 9th inning. They want him to be available for tomorrow night as well. Bud Norris and John Smoltz tomorrow night. That's got to be a special thrill for Bud Norris. Pitch against Smoltz.
Bud made his first major league start against the Cardinals in St. Louis and pitched to Dandy. Sunday afternoon game, the Astros won, avoiding a sweep.
Alberti gets a swing and a miss from DeRosa. The count goes to 1-2. The Cardinals and the Astros both have a day off coming up Thursday. So the Cardinals, if they were to win tonight and win tomorrow, and they're waiting around to see what the Cubs do, they'd probably just wait in the visiting clubhouse. Maybe celebrate there if it turns out that way for them. Steve Perry's got to be thrilled about that. Backhanded Tejada, low throw to Berkman. He's there to make the play. And the run scores on out number 2, 11-2 Redbirds. RBI for DeRosa, his second of the night, 28 as a Cardinal. He's driven in 12 against the Astros. Stay tuned after the game for the Astros live postgame show. It's brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center. Kevin Eschenfelder and Dave Harbison will have all the highlights and analysis. You can stay tuned for that right after this.
That makes Doug Brocail the Astro of the game.
Oh?
He's the only pitcher to work in this game not to allow the Cardinals a run.
Yeah.
They've used 6.
Yes. Roque had a 1-2-3 inning.
Yep. Roque will receive 50-gallon drum of borax for his efforts here tonight, and a lovely timepiece.
Up the right field line, Hunter Pence over, and that's in for a hit. It bounces up into the seats for a double. Molina's second extra base hit.
Molina's probably glad it bounced into the seats. If not, he would have had to run all the way to third.
That's 15 Cardinal hits. Three doubles. Now it's Julio Lugo. Lugo had an RBI and a ground out in the 4th. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Rough night for the Astros pitching staff, allowing 15 hits. Gave up 21 against Washington July 11th. Strike to Lugo.
Mets won.
Did they?
Atlanta 3.
Anyone would have to question the Mets winning, so you suckered us in on that one.
Jair Jurgens with another win. Boy, he's a good one.
Yeah, Bobby Cox was glowing in his praise of him when the Braves were here a few weeks ago.
13-10 now, Jurgens with a 2.70 ERA. 7 innings tonight, 5 hits, 1 run.
Tough luck year for him.
I'm telling you, that's a team to keep an eye on. It's a team on the rise if they keep their pitching intact.
2 balls, 1 strike. Tim Hudson being one of the big question marks.
Well, I mean, they got Jurgens and Lowe and Hansen, the young phenom, and Hudson and Vasquez. He's pitched very well this year.
Solid staff.
Kawakami hasn't been all that bad, but he's kind of the odd man out.
Up the right field area toward Hunter Pence. And in the 9th inning for the Redbirds, it's 1 run, 2 hits, and a man stranded. 11-2 St. Louis. Baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Ford F-150, by the Progressive Insurance Group, and by Bud Select. In downtown Houston, the Cardinals have come to town, and they have done a number on the Astros in the hit column. Last night they had 7 runs on 15 hits. Tonight, 11 runs on 15 hits. And the pitcher, Todd Wellemeyer, comes out for the bottom of the 9th inning. He's pitcher number 3. The Cardinals' biggest hit output of the year was against the Astros. That was 19 hits back on the 11th of April. Strike for Wellemeyer to Hunter Pence. He's 0 for 3. 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Astros have not reached pace. A collective 0 for 12. No balls, 2 strikes. Astros have been throttled on 7 hits.
I don't know if it's ironic or fitting, but I just looked at the television here in the booth, and there was an add-on for production at the Theater Under the Stars of Meet Me in St. Louis.
Oh. Throw from Lugo, and it gets away from Molina. Hunter Pence gets back to first base after reaching. Now they're playing the hole to Lugo.
Should be another infield hit for Hunter Pence. And Lugo makes a nice play on it. It looked like he was going to beat it. The more experienced first baseman probably comes off the bag to secure that ball. I don't think he's going to have a knock anyway. He's had a lot of infield hits this year.
Yes, he has. That's another one. And Jeff Keppinger, strike 1, 0 for 3. Padres-Rockies game is 7-6 in favor of the Rockies in the top of the 6th inning at Coors Field. No balls, 2 strikes. De La Rosa didn't last very long for Colorado. 2 1/3 innings, giving up 6 earned runs. And Hopp hit his 20th homer. That was a 3-run shot.
See, no matter what is happening at the ballpark, even if the home team's getting throttled, you come out and have a good time.
Yeah, double play ball here. Lugo with a shovel. First in the turn, and it's 6-4-3.
I'm a big believer in that philosophy.
Oh, yeah.
Root for the home team. Come on out, have some fun.
And you'll see a Texaco star performer of the game right here. You'll see something good in a Major League Baseball game. Colby Rasmus has provided some of the highlights here tonight. 2 singles, a homer, a walk, 3-run score.
Rasmus not in the lineup last night. Back with a vengeance tonight. Good-looking young player.
J.R. Tolles is 0 for 3. Strike 1 to Tolles. Jason Michaels is on deck. Pitcher spot due up next. Broken bad roller goes foul past El Pedrique, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. JR needs another bat. Arizona leads San Francisco at Arizona 7-4. They're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It could be a nice night for Colorado with the Rockies ahead by 1 after 5. They could put more space between themselves and the Giants. Pretty bleak right now for San Francisco. Detroit down Cleveland 3-1 at Cleveland. Goes down.
You know when the Rockies season turned around?
No.
Right after I pelted their general manager with peanuts.
And oh, that's right. He was here.
Yeah, Dan O'Dowd was 2 booths down, and we were throwing peanuts out during the 7th inning, and I was trying to go deep, and hung on to a little, trying to throw a little Scroogey, and I just hung on to it a little too long, and it smoked the pillar between the booths, and the bag of peanuts exploded all over him.
Are they crediting you with their turnaround?
No, I am. I'm crediting me with their turnaround.
So maybe you should be their manager of the year. Peanut thrower
just in case Dan comes after me at some point, I want to be able to make that point.
Tolles down on strikes, and that's the ball game. Cardinals lower their magic number for clinching to 2. They win for the second straight night. Tony La Russa's club getting 15 hits for the second straight night, winning this one convincingly 11-2. Stay tuned for the MD Anderson postgame show. It's coming up next with